Hello everybody, I'm Bishwa Karki, known as Mac Karki. Welcome to Education Television. As you know, Education Television is always dedicated to the service of students. Today, my topic is active and passive voice. Alright? This one is important not only for SEE students, not only for grade 10 students, but for those aspirants willing to take various competitive examinations. Here we go. Now, when the subject is important, we use the active voice. And when the work is important, we use the passive voice. For example, Somnath stole my pen. Here, the subject, that is Somnath, is important. It is Somnath who stole my pen. So, you write here active voice. Somnath stole my pen. But, when the work done is more important than the doer, or when the work done is more important than the subject, we use passive voice. For example, my pen was stolen. In this sentence, who stole is not important, but the fact that my pen was stolen is important. So we've written here the sentence in the passive form. My pen was stolen. So here what is important? What is important here? Here what is important? Subject, which we say doer, is important. Now, how do you convert the active voice into the passive? There's a rule. A very, very simple rule. Here we go. Subject, verb, object. Rohan beat me. So, this object is drawn here as subject. I. This subject is taken here as by plus object by Rohan. And according to this verb, we write to be and be3. Remember, object is drawn as the subject. Subject is drawn as by plus object. And in the middle, we write be verb and past participle, that is be3. Rohan beat me. Me becomes I. Remember, this is not present tense, this is past tense. Okay? Because with Rohan we cannot write B1, beat. It has to be Rohan beats in the present tense. So, this beat is V2. So, whatever the form of this verb is, accordingly we have to write be verb. My point is, if the verb is in past tense, be verb also should be in past tense. If the main verb is in present tense, be verb also should be in the present tense. If the main verb is in past participle form, that be verb also should be in the past participle form. We'll be talking about it later. Right now, let us concentrate as to how we change object into subject, subject into by plus object, and how we add be verb and be3. Let us see. Rohan beat me. I. This is past tense, so we have written here was, and B3 of beat is beaten. I was beaten by Rohan. Finished? Let us see some more. how to place a be verb. Here be verb refers to be verb. Some people say to be verb as well. We know object is drawn here as subject, subject as by plus subject only when it is a pronoun. If it is a noun, only when it is a noun. If it is a pronoun, we don't need to. Now let us see. If there is B1 or B5, we write is MR plus B3. For example, she calls us. Now it becomes we. Let us see. Okay. She calls us. Now this one is V5. So we have to write is MR, one among them. We are called by her. This is pronoun, so by her is not mandatory. So the answer is we are called. Similarly, if there is B2, we have to write was, were. Suppose instead of call, here it's called. She called us. As we know, the object is drawn here as subject, and subject by plus object only when it is a noun. If it is a pronoun, you don't need to. So she called us. Us becomes we, and called is past tense, so we write here were. We were called. Fine. Now V3. If there is V3, we have to write been. V3 means past participle. Remember, the another name of V3 is past participle. All right. Now let us write the same sentence like this. She has called us. All right. She has called us. Same thing. Us becomes we. Remember, with she we write has, but with we write have. We cannot write has. So we write we have. What form is it? B3. So we must write been. We have been called. Fine. Another one is if there is ing form, which be verb should we place? Ing of be, that is being. For example, they are making tea. Let us see this sentence. They are making tea. So tea as object is drawn here as subject tea. With T, you don't write R, so is. Remember, here is ing, so we have to write here being. T is being, and we should never forget to convert the verb into past participle, that is B3. So, T is being made. Alright, T is being made. They is a pronoun. We don't have to write by them. It's not necessary. Another is 2 plus B1. You have to make coffee, right? This is active form. Now you change it into passive. Coffee here, coffee. With coffee, you don't write have, you write has. Here is to make, so you write here to be. Coffee has to be made. By you is not necessary. Coffee has to be made. Alright. Now modal auxiliaries like can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, etc. they are followed by be and past participle, that is be3. Let us see. He will invite us. He will invite us. Okay, he will invite us. Now, us is drawn here as subject. We. Remember, nowadays we use will with all subjects. I will, she will, he will, whatever. But according to the prescriptive grammar, I and we are followed by shall, and others are followed by will. So, with we have to write shall. He will invite us. Us becomes we will become shall. And as the rule goes, this shall is modal auxiliary. Whenever there is modal auxiliaries, we write modal auxiliaries plus B3. So we shall be invited. So once you remember these structural patterns, it comes out to be easier to convert the sentences into the passive form. Let me repeat. B1 or B5 is MR plus B3 are called. You know, B2 was verb plus B3 were called. B3, been plus B3 have been called. ING form, being plus B3 being made. 2 plus B1 to infinitive. You have to make coffee. Coffee has to be made. Coffee has to be made. You know, modal auxiliaries B plus B3. He will invite us. We shall be invited. Look, we shall be invited. So, these are the examples. All right? Let us see some more examples. Well, change the following into the passive voice. We have already learned the rules. What to do if there is V1 or V5, V2, V3, ing form, to infinitive, etc. Now is the time to convert the sentences into passive. Let us do some practice. Johnson cooks delicious food. Remember, as we have already known, SVO. O has to be drawn here as subject. Object has to be drawn here as subject. Subject by plus object only when it is a noun. If a pronoun, we don't need to. Now here we have to write be verb plus B3. How to add be verbs we have already done. Johnson cooks delicious food. Let us find out the subject, the verb, and the object in the sentence. Johnson is the subject. Cooks, verb. Delicious food, object. So, how do you do the passive one? Object has to be drawn here as a subject. So, delicious food cooks. This is V5. So is MR. Delicious food is subject. This is singular. So is. Delicious food is E. Delicious food is. V3 of cook is cooked by Johnson. Finished. Delicious food is cooked by Johnson. We made a great mistake. A great mistake, that is object. So a great mistake. Remember, made. This is past, so we have to write was. I'm sorry. A great mistake was made. The difference here is Johnson is a noun, so we have written here by Johnson. But we is a pronoun. We don't need to write by us. They have not decided the case yet. Now again, their subject have not decided verb, the case object. Others let it be. So, the case. They is a plural pronoun, so we have used here have, but the case is a singular one, so we have to write has. So such change is possible. The case has not been decided yet. The case has not been decided yet. Similarly, let us see the next one with to infinitive. Farmers have to grow more rice. Farmers have to grow more rice. So, which one is subject? Farmers. What's the verb? Have to grow. What to grow? More rice. So, more rice has to be here as a subject. More rice has to be grown. More rice has to be grown by farmers. I shall go into the issue. Remember, go into means investigate. Alright? I shall go into the issue. I shall examine the issue. Remember, go is intransitive verb, but go into is a transitive verb. Only transitive verbs can be converted into a passive form. I shall go into the issue. The issue is drawn here as the subject and it becomes the issue. It's a vowel sound. We would rather say the issue. The issue. With the issue, we don't use shall, we use will. Because it is modal auxiliary, we write here be. Will be, and B3 past participle of go is gone, and don't miss this preposition into. Generally we miss the into, we should not. Go and go into, these two are different. So the issue will be gone into. People are building bridge in our village. Here the subject is people are building, verb, a breeze, object, in our village, adverb of place. So, whenever there is an indefinite pronoun like someone, anyone and all, we don't use by plus subject. Similarly, if the subject is people, we don't write by people. A bridge, a B-R-I-D-Z, bridge, is, here is ing form, so being. A bridge is being built. A bridge is being built where? In our village. In our village. No problem. People are building a bridge in our village. A bridge is being built in our village. So we've done 6 of them. Let us see some more. Now let us see how you change the negative into the passive form. The rules are same. Only you add not. That's all. No one speaks to him. Now no one is negative. As we know, speech is V5. And we have already told whenever there is V1 or V5, we have to use is, am, are. So, no one speaks to him. Him is drawn here as subject he, and speaks is V5. So, is spoken is spoken. Okay, a little bit mistake. He is spoken because no one is negative, so we have written here not. He is not spoken to. The rules are same. Since there is V5, we have to write is MR plus V3. Since the sentence is a negative one, we have to add not. Remember. That's clear. It's not difficult. So, next one. Do birds frighten them? Do and frighten. If there is do dot 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 V1, we have to start with is are dot 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 V3 dot 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 question mark. It's all the same. Because do and V1 means V1. That's present tense. Did and V1 means V2. That's past tense. Only the point is that is, are also should be at the beginning of a sentence because it is a question form. Do birds frighten them? In this is, are, them is here as subject. So in this is, are, we have got here are. Are they frightened by birds? Same. The object is drawn here as subject. The subject is placed here as by plus object. Object is drawn here as subject. Subject goes there as by plus object. And because this is present tense, we write is MR plus V3. Do birds frighten them? Are they frightened by birds? That's all. So, what are you thinking? The answer is what is being thought. Let me write it clearly here. What? You know, you is subject, so we should place as by plus object, but it is a pronoun, so we don't need to. What? With what we write is. Here is ing form, so being. What is being? And the V3 of thinking. Thinking is in present participle, ing form. You know? So, this has to be converted into past participle, that is thought. What is being thought? Complete. That's all. Let us see some more. Some more examples are given here. Who do you blame for the loss? Now, whenever there is who, you have to understand whether that who is subject or object. Here, you is subject. You know, blame is verb. You know, blame is verb. Who to blame? The very word who is object. You know, so here if who means whom, if who means whom, do not change who, do not change who, keep it as who itself. Who do you blame for the loss means whom do you blame for the loss. Here who does not mean who means whom. So who is here as who, and do and blame present tense, so is blamed for the loss. For the loss, by you is not needed. Who accuses you of theft? Remember, here if who is not an object, not the object of the sentence but the subject, you change who into by whom or who dot 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 by. So if who is the subject, you change it into who dot 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 by or by whom dot 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 question mark. So who accuses of theft? By whom are you accused of theft? Why? Who is subject Accuses is verb, you as object, the object is drawn here as subject. So, by whom are you accused of theft? Or, who are you accused of theft by? It's all the same whether you write who ... by or by whom. Both of them mean shame. Okay. Whom shall we trust? Remember, whom is always converted into who. Whom is always converted into who. So, whom shall we trust? Who will be trusted? Whom object, object here becomes subject. Who will be trusted? So this is the form of question. Now let us see another negative. Did not invite, this is V2. Past tense. Therefore we write here, were not. C did not invite us to the party. C as subject, us as object, did not invite, verb. So this object is drawn here as subject, we. And did not is past tense, so were not invited to the party. C did not invite us to the party. We were not invited to the party. It's the same. They have not forgiven me. They subject, have not forgiven, verb, me object. I have not been forgiven, complete. There is no one looking after the baby. The baby is not being looked after. There is no one looking after the baby. You know, their subject is not looking after, verb, the baby object. The baby is not being looked after. Do not forget this after. Now, the last question. Why should they print the materials? Why should they print the materials? Remember, they as subject, should and print as verb, the materials object. So you have to draw that material at first as the subject. So that would be why as it is. You don't need to change why into anything else. And should is should. Why should? The material is drawn as the subject. Why should the material or materials? Should is modal auxiliary. So according to the rule, we have to add be. Why should the materials be printed? And the subject, as we have here in the active form, is they, and we don't have to write by them. We don't have to write. So question mark. Don't miss a question mark. This is how we can do. All right. Now we are talking about the passive form of imperative sentences. Imperative sentences refer to command, advice, recommendations, etc., etc., so on and so forth. So how to convert an imperative sentence into the passive voice? Here we go. Let us see. If there is V1 and object, the object is drawn here as subject as it is. Means without changing. If there is me, you draw here as me itself. If there is us, draw here as us itself. You don't have to change it into we or I. And then object is drawn here as subject, and then you write be verb and B3, and you add one word, that is let. For example, let us see. Help for example, help me. Help is V1, me is object. In other cases, when we draw me as a subject, it becomes I. But in the imperative case, you don't have to change me into I. So, let me as it is, means you don't change anything. As it is, me. Here should be be. Let me be helped. Complete. If not, what to do? Let us see. Do not scold children. Let children, and this not is here. Do not scold children. Let not children be scolded. Help him right now. Let him be helped. If there is an adverb, how to do it? Like this. Always love the poor. Here the sentence doesn't start with V1, it starts with always adverbial. Where to put adverbial? After the V verb, before the main verb. Always, never, sometimes, often, etc., etc. These are frequency adverbs. And these frequency adverbs should be placed after be verb, before main verb. So, always love the poor. As we have the formula, let subject, the poor, be, B3, loved. And where goes this? Always between be and loved. Always love the poor, let the poor be always loved. Easy. If there are two objects in the passive voice, how to do? Let us see. She showed him all the places in the village. She, subject. Showed, V2. Him, indirect object. All the places, direct object. In such a case, what to do? See the nearest object. Which one is the nearest object? Him, indirect object. So bring it as subject. Finish. Him becomes he. This is past tense. He was shown all places of the village. Complete. Now the same sentence can be written in another way. See subject, showed verb, all places. This is direct object. D-O. She showed all places in the village to him. This is indirect object. Now, which object is near here? Which is the nearest object? All places. So, make that object the subject of the sentence. All places in the village. All places in the village. This is subject. Was shown, this is verb. And this to him indirect object is placed here as it is. So no worry, even if there are two objects, you can easily, convert the sentence into the passive form. They had promised him a beautiful doll. Here also their subject, had promised, verb, him indirect object, a beautiful doll direct object. Which one is near? Indirect object. So bring this indirect object as the subject. So we have got he had promised, had been promised. A beautiful doll direct object is here itself. Is there any problem? No problem. Only the thing is that bring the nearest object as the subject of the passive voice. That's all. Now, the passive of clause. How do you convert the passive? How do you convert the active into passive in a clause? Let us see. He thought that I was dead. He subject, thought verb, that I was dead object. There are two ways. One is bring the entire object here as the subject. That I was dead subject, was thought verb. This is one way. Another way is start with introductory it. It was thought that I was dead. Finish. start with it, or do this way. People believe that the present political situation are not satisfactory. People, subject, believe, verb, that the present political situations are not satisfactory. This is object. So bring the entire object here. The present political situations are believed not to be satisfactory. Okay, that is another way. It is believed that the present political situations are not satisfactory. That is one way. Another, the present political situations are believed not to be satisfactory. That is another. Another is, bring this entire object, that the present political situations are not satisfactory. Subject is verb, believed, is and believed, B plus B3. So this sentence can be converted into passive in three ways. One is, let us see, that the present political situations are not satisfactory, make it as subject. And because believe is present tense, is believed. Next one is, it is, start with it is. Another is, start with the present political situations. The present political situations are believed to be or not to be, not to be satisfactory. Finished. Even clauses are easy, Either you can start with that, taking the entire object as the subject, or you can start with it. Okay. This room contains 3 windows. 3 windows are contained, not by this room, in this room. It's not that you should always use by in the passive form. They made me sing a song. Me is here, I was made. The passive of causative verb with the word make becomes to infinitive. I was made to sing a song. To sing a song. But here is let. With let you cannot write to. They let you sing a song last year. You were let. Sing is sing itself. You can't write to sing. You were let sing a song last year. Right? So with make, you convert it made to sing. But with let, you write only let sing. That's the difference in passive. So, I'll be coming with more videos in the days to come regarding grammar practice. Keep on watching Education Television.